Hello and welcome to the podcast.
Welcome,
This is a new
everybody.
podcast.
It might have been like demon possessed. It was a fairly large, mutated looking chicken.
We were born in the north, but we grew up in the south.
We learned all of our words from Pennsylvania.
And people are that toboggan, that little toboggan.
Not
there.
a toboggan. Toboggan is a sled. Okay.
0.3 inches, baby.
Dude, I can't take it.
Welcome to another episode of the Wiseworks podcast.
Yes.
We're back. We've done a lot of podcasting this week, but that doesn't mean that this is not going to be a good episode. It's going to be a great episode.
We've done a crap ton of podcasting this week.
crap ton.
And we've done a crap ton of stuff today. I'm tired.
Yeah.
As we talked about last week, we did go and film a wedding this past weekend.
Oh, that's
So-
for people who have not listened to.
Well,
the
we talked about
audio
it
version.
last week.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you join us week to week, we did do it. It went very well. Now I have
Yeah.
editing to do, but I am tired. It is Monday, the day after we got back.
Yeah. I want to do a really quick recap because people who aren't going to listen to the longer podcast that we did, and we only kind of recapped it at the second half. So even if they listen to it, they might not get to the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So can we just recap the wedding a little bit for a second?
Yeah.
I know for me, you were there before me because you went and recorded, just filmed some of the getting ready shots,
Mm-hmm.
and then I showed up for the actual ceremony itself. That's what I helped out with. But it's funny, it was our friend Seth. It was his sister who got married. He's been on the Midnight Special once before, and he's gonna be on. He was on last week.
Yeah. If
Last
all
week
went
we met.
well, he was on.
Yeah. But the funny thing was to me, I mean, we're decent. We're really close to Seth.
Mm-hmm.
So when I showed up, he was like, brother, and gave me a big kiss on the cheek. It was funny.
He did the same to me.
Yeah.
He was quoting Godfather and say, like, I'm so happy for you to be here on the wedding day of my sister. You know?
Yeah.
Just like at the beginning of Godfather 1.
It was, after it happened, I'm like, that was a greeting, my guy.
Godfather, that's a good movie. I've
Yeah.
always really loved Al Pacino's work. Scarface, obviously Godfather.
Yeah.
What else is he on? He's on a bunch of stuff. I know he's on a bunch of stuff with De Niro. Crap, what else is Pacino on? He's on
I'm only thinking of like an Adam
Devil's
Sandler movie he's
Advocate.
on.
Well, he's a great actor.
He was on a random Adam Sandler movie, Jack and Jill, I think.
Was he?
I think
He
so.
was on Jack and Jill.
I'm pretty sure.
He was on The Irishman that came out recently.
I think that was the film that he was on. But yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, he was on The Irishman. Oh, you mean Jack and Jill?
Jack and Jill.
Gotcha. But yeah, the wedding went really well. We did a highlight video,
Yeah.
full ceremony recording. It was, I believe it went well. Just got to edit it together. Usually editing can take a minute, but I'm going to get it done.
Excited.
Going to look nice. I like to make the highlights and the ceremony as much as possible look very cinematic. I don't always
Yeah.
achieve that with certain cameras that I have access to use. So like during the ceremony with this one, we had a 4-camera setup.
Yeah.
So pretty much what we did is we used 2 cameras, a Blackmagic Canon for over the shoulder of the bride and groom of the front. And then we put a GoPro, the GoPro recording here,
in the middle.
in the
yeah.
middle on a little table to get a wide straight on view.
Which is very similar. People don't see it, but it's very similar to what we do for this podcast.
Yeah, it is pretty similar to what we do for this podcast. But then I also went around with this guy, an iPhone, and just captured B-roll shots of just like sort of kind of long that I will insert those clips in there. And I usually like to take this and make it like black and white
Yeah.
and like cut to like a little black and white shot here and there throughout the ceremony. And then I also like to add music. Like I don't just let the audio be the audio because I don't want people to watch it and feel cringy. There's a lot of opportunities to feel cringy when you watch a video
Yeah.
like that, especially of yourself. So I want to, even with the ceremony, I usually get some royalty-free music and I put it in there in the background to sort of create the mood of it.
Yeah.
And so I do my best to make it as meaningful as possible and make it as cinematic as possible.
I think everything went smoothly from my perspective. I know the before shots I left without your shoulder mount that you normally use.
Yeah, I was carrying around my mini tripod, holding it like this. I usually have a shoulder mount, and you wouldn't answer your phone, man.
Well, it died.
Yeah, but
why.
you went and got a charger,
and then it didn't show me.
And then you didn't look.
No, it didn't show me that I had missing calls from you. It showed I had a missing call from our dad, from my parents, but not from you.
That was so frustrating.
Okay, well,
so frustrating.
It was just circumstance. I mean, everything happens. That's why you prepare for the worst.
Well, you have to troubleshoot.
Yeah.
You can prepare, but literally I prepared. I brought a shoulder mount.
Yeah.
And you took it with you. So I had to troubleshoot.
Yeah.
Because I was prepared. But that was my fault. I left it in your car and your phone was dying. So it's whatever. But anyway, that's what we do. That's what we did. I think that's the last. I believe that's the last.
Here, go like this right quick on the other side. You got an eyelash right quick. Yep, you got it.
I believe that's the last video freelance gig I have for the year, unless something comes up really quick. But usually things are planned out a little bit ahead of time. So unless it's something smaller and real quick, I believe that's it. I might get an editing thing or whatever. I kind of hope I do.
You want more projects?
I want like a small editing thing so I can make a little bit more.
What if somebody just threw in a wedding?
Threw in a wedding?
Would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would do it. If they were willing to pay me, yeah, I'd do it. Okay. Because, I mean, that's a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
I go to the end of the year with another chunk of money like that. Yeah, I'd be down.
It's definitely. Okay. What are you thinking?
I'm wondering where you want to start with this topic.
First.
I need to say, The Mandalorian 2. I haven't watched any of the episodes yet. Season 2.
It's out.
Apparently, it's really good.
Up till now, we have not. Which we
haven't
to watch
seen
it before
we're gonna do
before we record the Midnight special,
which is what we've already shown people.
Yeah, everybody's already watched it at this point or listened to it.
But between now and Wednesday, we have to watch 2 or 3 episodes of The Mandalorian because we're gonna be talking about Star Wars, and we need to consume as much of that. That's like the biggest, newest, freshest thing. So we need to make sure we consume that. Something that I was interested in talking briefly about was I watched this video about how Disney makes. It's a very strong format where they take any kind of fairy tale or old story or whatever and just inject cuteness, where literally cuteness is the selling point of everything they do. Everything they do.
Yeah.
They introduce the cuteness factor, so they're in their animation. There's always multiple cute characters or very big eyes. It's actually a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
They say that like humans have evolved, I guess, for children to be cute. Because
I know they do make everything very animated and not what I say realistic. But yes, very big.
But the reason why they say things are cute is so that you'll keep an eye on them to pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
is it kind of like a sleight of hand type thing?
Okay, I'm talking about in general with humans.
Okay.
Disney took that principle and has applied it to all these crazy stories like in the old days, like Sleeping Beauty, like Pinocchio, these really dark stories, changed the ending, restructured, made a lot of characters look cute and easy to look at, almost like baby-like child features so that we keep our eyes on it. It's almost hypnotizing in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I felt that way with Rapunzel or Tangled. The way they animated specifically Rapunzel in that, like, locked me in for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird because it's just an animation. Maybe it was the voice. I don't know. But
yeah,
it locked me in, and it's definite. And they've done that with Star Wars. Notice all of the cute little dumb animals they're introducing into the Star Wars universe. It's like they can't help it.
Yeah.
BB-8, the little ball.
Yeah.
Like they decided to take RTD2, which wasn't cute, and decided to do something like give it a little ball.
Well,
to make it look cuter.
If you go back and actually listen to this is something that I want to talk about maybe midnight special because he might know more about this. I went back to and listened to the original commentary with all the original cast for like 4, 5, and 6, and the original design for RTD2 was BB-8.
Okay.
At the time, they had no way of making that ball spin the way it did to move the character. It was too hard. So they kind of adapted it and didn't do it. But they held on to that idea and that design, and that's why they made BB-8, the character, because they wanted to pull that design from the original concept that they had for RTD2 and...
R2D2.
Yeah,
you said RTD2
or whatever, and so that's something that a lot of people don't know.
No, I didn't know that.
So, but yeah, I get what you're saying about cuteness.
Like, so what are some cute things that they've introduced? Obviously,
oh, none of that, my guy. You're making the podcast go down.
Chill. Okay, on the one that sucked, where they go to the island that Luke's at.
Yeah.
They had the little creatures that everyone's like, oh, they're so cute.
Yeah.
They sucked.
I've only watched it one time. Is that bad?
I've only watched it one time. You only have to watch it one time. You're not going to watch something that's trash again.
Well, I've watched all the Star Wars multiple times. Double-digit numbers for sure. Maybe even triple-digit numbers for... No. Let me rephrase that. I could have not watched... I mean,
I've definitely watched the old.
Well, the 4, 5, and 6, I've watched a lot.
But I've also watched the prequels, probably double digits.
Definitely double digits.
Definitely not triple digits.
Yeah, that's
none
way too much.
Triple digits.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
I've watched the prequels and the originals double digits for sure. Haven't only watched the new ones, like maybe the first one, number 8, I think it was, or 7. Probably watched that maybe twice.
Yeah.
And then the last one, Return of the Jedi, or not
Once.
Return of the Jedi, the last one that's recent.
Yeah.
The last 3 I didn't even keep up with because I watched them and I was not interested.
I wasn't. The Mandalorian, yes, I like that.
Good.
That's good. Compared to the movies themselves, The Mandalorian, the show, is good.
Which I know, I'm real excited to watch season 2 because
Yeah.
I know about the technology they're using.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be blown away. I'm going to know it's not all just computer stuff. It's literally like you're in an LED. This thing keeps...
Is it kind of like a
clicking. It makes
virtual
it sound like I'm
reality
farting.
that how they're doing it?
It's... Have you not looked up any of this
Yeah,
stuff?
a little bit.
Okay. It's a big room,
Mm-hmm.
a circle screen, the ceiling, the walls, all of that stuff. You can put whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it has perspective from the camera. They attach its technology, so it literally the background is interacting with the direction the camera's pointing.
Okay.
So perspective, all of that, you get all of it. It is kind of like virtual reality, but it's just displaying virtual reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like...
Which is what I was thinking. That's what I meant by virtual reality.
And it's cool because it's like literally you have to do a lot of prep work, but then once you put it in editing, it's literally just color correcting and editing it together. There's like hardly any special effects outside of like lasers and stuff that you have to add because it's all in-camera stuff.
That does seem a lot easier to film.
Yeah, it's definitely easier, but also it's not easier.
No. Yeah.
It's quicker.
Quicker.
It's more efficient. It's very interesting and fascinating because you can create any world you want. Literally create any world you want. But
some smart people filming that.
they said on the behind the scenes, you know that one scene from season 1 where the Baby Yoda's, they're on Tatooine, I believe is the planet, and the sun is setting, and they're like on this rock face, and he's like sitting down, almost laying down, like looking like he's about to turn in for the night.
Yeah.
It's just the two of them. It's just some really pretty shots. They said they filmed that for 5 hours. And they said, imagine having a sunset for 5 hours to just work with.
My God.
Because it wasn't a real sunset. It was a artificial sunset.
I definitely would love to go there and observe this, but most filmmakers probably would. So
You know what
there's
I
no
would
way
love
of
to do?
doing that.
Be on the camera in that room.
Yeah.
That would be insane to look through your viewfinder and be
How
like,
much do you think someone gets paid for something like that? That probably makes a decent check.
a lot of money. Hardly anybody's using this technology,
Yeah.
but they got Disney money. So,
Disney money and Disney
did
Plus
you hear
money.
that? Did you hear that Disney Plus
Mhm.
they expected to get to between 60 and 90 million subscriptions
Mhm.
in the first 5 years of opening it, right? How long has it been open? Like what, 9 months?
Yeah.
They're already at a little over 60 million.
That's so many people. Holy crap.
They are way past their projection on how quickly they would get subscriptions. And I think they're basing that on Hulu because they own Hulu, and Hulu doesn't have that many. But also, I guess Hulu wasn't a platform that they invested much into.
A lot of people like Disney Plus. I mean, because of all the Disney films that are on there.
You know what's crazy though? We were talking about Disney's subscription service. We had a few things wrong. So I was convinced, which I'm not
This is
completely
like season
convinced.
1 that we talked about this?
No, before we even knew what Disney Plus was.
Okay.
I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast. We might have.
I think we did.
I think we did, but yeah, we did early on before they even announced Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Well,
Season 1.
yeah, it was definitely. We talked about it, but I was convinced at that time that Disney would do a streaming service, Disney Plus, make it a lot more expensive than all the others, so you'd have to cancel your subscription to others if you wanted Disney, but they would pack their library even more than they're doing right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I thought they would pull everything from everybody. So everything Marvel that's not owned by Sony.
Which there's a lot of it on there.
Well, yeah, but Sony has a little piece of it, like Spider-Man stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they would have to buy it from them. But everything besides what Sony owns, they would take Marvel, put it on their platform. Everything 20th Century Fox that's been created, they would put it on their platform from years since they bought a big chunk of that. Obviously, Star Wars stuff, which they did kind of monopolize on Star Wars.
To be honest, they might still do that because they're kind of bringing people in at this point still. I mean,
but you're
now
at
that
60 million. You are gaining so quick on Netflix.
If they have, let's say,
hey Siri,
60
how many Netflix? Oh, come on. Hey Siri, how many Netflix subscriptions are there worldwide?
Okay, I found this on the web for how many Netflix subscriptions are there worldwide.
I wish they would just tell me.
They might not have the number.
No, they have it. Google has it. You just have to, I don't want to allow cookies. This sucks. I'm just trying to get my answer. I'm just going to go Google and ask because Google knows the right answer.
Back to what I was saying. They're probably trying to get people in, and then they are just going to bump up the price a little bit. Because how much is it now? I mean, it's like...
I think it's
I know Netflix is
$9.99 a month or something.
Yeah, it's cheaper than Netflix, I think. And Netflix is like, I think I paid $12 for Netflix. Yeah, $12, which is really cheap for everything you're getting, to be honest.
Yes. Okay, so Netflix had 73 million subscribers, US subscribers. The subscriber base in the United States account for the majority Netflix's worldwide streaming subscriber base, which at the end of 2019, so at the beginning of this year, at the end of last year, stood at 167 million subscribers worldwide for Netflix.
So
that I'm
Disney
sure they
has
gained this
more?
year. This year they might have gained a lot because a lot of people don't have
they
much to do working at home.
Definitely did, probably.
They're like, all right, I'm going to pull the plug. I'm getting Netflix. I got nothing to watch. You know?
Yeah.
Sure, 2020 was great for tech companies.
For streaming.
For streaming media. 2020 was amazing for their business, even though people aren't, because it's cheap. It's not like asking for a bunch of money, but it's offering a lot of entertainment.
It's kind of interesting how just what's happening in the world affects things like that, or even things like the stock market and just things like that. You know, today was one of, and I don't know the exact number, but it's like one of the 10 most profitable like days for the stock market ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just stocks went like soaring high. It had something to do with the election.
Well, they didn't though. The stocks did not go up. Though.
They did. If you go and look
Not
at
mine.
stocks, your stocks didn't. No.
Stupid.
It depends on the stocks you have. But
Did any of yours go up?
I mean, we have the same stocks, I think, right now.
Don't you have a couple more than me?
We're not. This is not talking about stocks. We're not talking about stocks. Let's go back. Originally, I wanted to talk about method acting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can get into a whole bunch of stuff with method acting.
Yes.
I think we've briefly talked about it before, but not like so in depth that.
Do you like method acting? Do you think it's good, and like, do you want to see people do it?
Yes. Now, I would say the couple films we've done where we've gotten people to act for us, especially on kind of volunteer basis or just doing some films rather than us acting itself, I'm seeing people that their sole job is to act when they come on set with us now. And so, yes, now I do. Before, I didn't see so much a purpose for it because I wasn't around just actors. I think method acting, it definitely gets the actor in the role.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think there's a level of hype to it. So, for example, what was the film I talked to you earlier about, Jim Carrey?
I think it was Ace Ventura.
Okay, is that one of his first films?
I think so.
There was essentially, I watched a documentary on during the production of that, and he was staying in character the whole time.
Yeah.
And his character was very strange. Refused to break, was annoying people, was playing pranks on people as the character in their trailers and stuff. He was very intense. It got to the point where so many people hated Jim Carrey, and this was his breakout role, you know, that Jim Carrey called the director and asked him, as the person, as the character, would you like Jim Carrey to stop acting like this? Like, he didn't want to break character, even asking him if he thinks it would be best for him to stop doing this. And the director, even though he was really annoyed and pissed off, in that moment he decided, no, keep going. And then he went real hard after that. It was a pretty cool documentary. But it was like,
where is this on something?
I
Like
can't
Netflix
remember.
or-
It might be free on YouTube. If it's not, I probably watched it on Netflix, maybe
Okay.
Hulu. I don't know. It's one of those three.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. It was interesting. That kind of method acting, I don't think is necessary. It's interesting. It's interesting to talk about. I don't know if it ultimately makes you a better actor or not.
Mhm.
I'm sure some actors will be like, yes, of course it does. You don't know what you're talking about. But other actors choose not to do it, and they're amazing. So I would wonder, maybe it might not be that helpful. I know there are certain people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do method acting.
Well, I'm talking
they
about
do get
method
into it.
acting in the form of just acting the part and staying in character.
Yeah.
Not necessarily physical things, like physical changes to themselves.
Okay, well, I mean, even just staying in character, sometimes that messes with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a long time, people have effects from doing method acting. Good, bad, I don't know.
Who do you have on your mind?
I mean, some obvious ones like Heath Ledger.
Well, yeah.
That affected his mental state.
Yeah.
That
Do you know if that was truly from method acting, or was that something that he was that like a medication issue he had?
it might have been a little bit medication plus method acting.
You think he leaned into it a little bit?
Yeah.
I know he did stuff like keeping himself in a white room to try to become mentally deranged. To what extent, only he knows that, and he's dead. He can't tell us.
Yeah.
But he did take action to become the iconic Heath Ledger Joker, which is crazy. I remember I was in high school when that film came out, and all of the crazy, crazy posters of the Joker was out. This really creepy stuff. People were being like, in our community, they're like, demon possession. The Joker's demon possessed.
People
the
didn't
actor's
like it.
demon possessed. You can't.
We weren't allowed to watch
go
it
watch
first.
it. Yeah, and I was like, this is the most intriguing thing. All I want to do is see this actor play this part.
That is
and it
true.
was so incredible. And then you hear
It
this
is
guy
a great
dies.
film. Either just today, it is.
But imagine Heath Ledger didn't even get a chance to see the success of this.
No.
You know how much more famous he is dying before the marketing for the film even started.
No, I mean he's in things that he got pretty famous for.
Not to the extent of
Not
the
to the
Joker.
extent of the Joker, but yeah, he decently famous. But yeah,
That's so weird to watch it and think he didn't even see the marketing for the film. He didn't see all these posters. Like he didn't the things that me and you saw.
then yeah, it's crazy to think because he was so in depth with that. But I mean, just going to method acting, more people that like get really skinny for a role or really big for a role.
Yeah.
I mean, we can name a few. We talked about Matthew McConaughey for a couple. We have Heath Ledger, the Batman. What is that? Christian Bale
Yeah.
played some. Natalie
The
Portman.
Machinist and in Vice. Those are the two craziest ones Christian Bale's done. Vice, where he played the vice president. What was his name? He was the vice president to George Bush.
I don't know.
He just blew up for that role to look like the guy. Anyways, and then Machinist got way down, nothing but bones and skin.
And The Fighter, is that right? Is that a movie?
I think Fighter's one that I think it's called Fighter.
The boxing one he was in.
He was pretty
Pretty
small.
skinny for that.
And then you look at him as Batman, and he's all jacked and like really healthy looking.
Yeah.
You're like, how on earth is his range so crazy? You know, I have a theory.
Yeah.
I think people that do that to themselves to that extent, and even like the purists of actors talk about people like Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, Shia LaBeouf himself.
Okay.
That guy's crazy.
These guys have been in acting since they were kids.
Yeah, they have most of them.
A lot of people didn't see a lot of the stuff that Christian Bale was in when he was a kid, but he was a little boy when he started acting in movies, pretty high caliber movies. And when you're in it your whole life, I feel like you start to become this purist actor. So you start doing things like you're not just looking out for what's the most money, and you're going to take like more indie film, lower budget films because you like the character, you like the story. People like the guy on Nightcrawler.
Oh,
He was
Jake
in,
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. He was pretty young when he got his breakout role, Donnie Darko,
yeah.
and he's kind of a purist too. He's done big films. He's in Marvel movies with Spider-Man and stuff, but he also is just like showing up and doing like
Southpaw. He got
Southpaw.
really jacked for that.
a guy I work with was a PA on Southpaw.
For real?
Yeah.
It's a good film.
And like I said, Nightcrawler, that was a pretty low budget film. I think the budget for Nightcrawler was like $5 million. That's crazy low
Yeah.
for a Hollywood
film.
film. It was an indie film. But all these purists, these actor purists, just take roles, and they're the more ones more likely to do the more intense method acting. And usually they were method acting as kids. So you see one like Jennifer Lawrence, who she wasn't super young when she started doing. Have you seen her do a method role? It's like the older they are when they come into fandom, the least
No,
likely you see them do
I don't.
method.
I mean, not off the top of my head. I could be mistaken from that. What roles? I mean, she played in. What was the one where she was like making the mops?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, I want to say she probably got into that role decent. Maybe
But-
not method, but
Yeah, that's the thing though. Method is like research and method acting is different. So obviously every good actor is going to do a lot of research to portray the character they think is the best, whether it's fiction or an actual person. But like, okay, but look at The Rock. Huge. Famous and physically huge.
Yeah,
He's never going to
he's
method
not.
act.
no.
His thing is he's jacked. He became pretty famous after he was an adult, you know. And now he's like one of the biggest names, but he's in so many big blockbuster things.
Yeah, he's not gonna method act.
But he's not going to method act. He's not an actor purist.
We can kind of go into if you were gonna be in a film acting, would you method act? I mean, not
Absolutely.
be on the crew at all, just acting. Your sole purpose is to act. Someone says they're gonna pay you $1 million to act in this film.
Absolutely.
You would?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I would. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that great at acting, but I would immerse myself into it, so I would try to at least.
I
do my
would
best
love the
for the role.
challenge.
Yeah,
I would love the challenge. I think it would be really hard, like if I wanted to direct a film, and so I said I'm also going to act in it, and then I try to method act while also directing. I don't think I could do that. That would be too
no,
emotionally.
not to direct. No, you'd have to just act.
yeah.
And you couldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
do
I would
both.
love the challenge. I don't know if I'll ever be given that opportunity because the films I'm probably going to be involved with are, unless, I mean, maybe not in the future, but perhaps I might just be pretty heavily involved in the crew or directing or something.
Yeah,
And so it would be a strange case scenario, not impossible, but a strange case that I would be able to method act. But I would love the challenge if someone was willing
what
to
would
give
you
it to me.
say if you could pick like a character or like not the story, because I don't want to just say like, oh, you're gonna play this story and method act in it, but just a character. What would you feel the most comfortable method acting? Because that's crazy to think about.
I've always had fantasies of doing my own version of a Joker, but we've had too many Jokers.
We definitely have done a
It
lot of
wouldn't
Jokers.
be any like the other. It wouldn't be like any of the ones we've seen.
How would you play it then?
I don't want to tell you.
No, I want to know. Tell the audience.
I think there are things. I think there are things. Now, granted, I haven't done a whole lot of research on the comics or the original Jokers. There's been plenty of different ones. Mark Hamill's too silly, in my opinion. Even though everyone who is the Joker purist, I keep saying the word purist,
They like
but
his Joker the
they
best.
like him the best. Jared Leto, I liked more than
I
he
would
was
agree.
given credit.
I like that because of Suicide Squad being the film it was. The
Because
Suicide
Suicide Squad sucked.
Suicide Squad sucked, but Jared Leto played it good. I agree because I feel like
He was a mob boss Joker, and
Yeah.
he played that part well.
that's why I have so much quarrels with the Joker film, the one with the Joaquin Phoenix, because they played it so much like a mentally deranged guy, and I think it was an interesting film. It was a good film, but for a Joker film, I think they didn't play it right. Joker is, yes, crazy, yes, all these things, but he also is a mastermind with just being
With
a
resources.
master villain.
He knows how to have
And he's
resources.
really smart to
and he's
outsmart
also a
Joe,
lone wolf.
even to outsmart Batman himself.
That's one thing I think was brilliant about Heath Ledger, though. Heath Ledger they portrayed the Joker for him as a lone wolf who has weird resources and gets a plan done. Like, it opens the movie with a bank robber where he's the last one standing.
Yeah.
A bank robbery with many people, and he's the last one standing to get away in a school bus with everything. That is a brilliant portrayal of the Joker.
Genius. Yeah.
And then you see that throughout the film. So he'll be like, he's trying to steal Harvey Dent out of the truck. He
Yeah.
shows up with a semi with like, I think, what was the word? I think it was like, I can't remember. It said Slaughter on the side of the truck, I believe, but he had painted the S, so I think it said something else. I can't remember. But they just open it up and he has a whole crew of people. And then like the very next scene, he's showing up to like the mob people and burning all their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, he's up in a building holding a device for a bomb with a bunch of hostages in clown masks holding guns, like tied guns to their hands.
And he
to
has
make
like
people
a
think,
crew.
But where's
of
his crew
people.
at that point? That's the thing. He's so unpredictable. We don't know. He's either going to show up with a crew and he has a plan and he's going to carry it out, or all of a sudden he's planned a plan and all his crew's gone. Maybe he's killed him. Maybe he's fired him. Maybe they don't know who he is and he just took off and went somewhere else. We don't know, and that's what makes his brilliance of that. And then also the portrayal of the Joker was very unique.
Yeah, I would agree.
The planning side
That
of the Joker
Heath
was
Ledger-
the best portrayal of Heath
Yes.
Ledger.
I would agree with that.
Like he has a whole crew, and then he shows up in Harvey Dent's hospital room by himself in a nurse outfit.
yeah.
You know?
You know Jared Leto's playing the Joker again?
Yeah, I heard that.
And also they're wanting to do another Joaquin Phoenix one.
Yeah. I don't
know how that's going to play, but people
know.
liked it,
a lot
so.
of people liked Joker, which I did too. I think I'm sorry. A lot of people liked Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. He did a good job. And a lot of people liked the movie, but I don't know if his portrayal of the Joker
was the
lived up to how much hype there was.
yeah.
And you're competing with someone
So
who's
many other
literally
people, yeah.
dead, who most people agree with has the best Joker ever and never will be beaten. And then you're also come behind in Jared Leto, who also got a crap ton of hate, but also has this whole unique thing with the Joker. Then you have the traditional Mark Hamill does the voice.
See, I've
Luke
not watched
Skywalker is the voice of the Joker.
Mark Hamill, but he is a good voice actor. So I think it could be very good. I haven't watched much of it.
You're just coming in and competing with too much.
That is true.
I have fantasies of doing it, but I would never do it.
Okay, but let's get back to the original question, maybe.
Okay.
What role would you do outside the Joker?
I would love... I would really be into playing some kind of crossbreed between the Revenant
Okay.
and I don't know, kind of like a drama, kind of like a dark drama, but also survival thing.
Dark drama. What type of actor or character would you be in that dark drama? Because I have an opinion about this. I think a dark drama to where it's like a murder drama type thing
I want mine to be a timepiece, probably,
of
or set in the
like
future.
down in the South. I think I could play that decent.
Really?
Yeah. Or also
Modern or when? What?
old, like
A
maybe
timepiece, so the old time.
50s.
Okay.
And then I think I could play. Oh man, I just lost it. I had another.
The
a
South in the
boxer.
50s.
A boxing film. I
Would
like
you be able to do a Southern accent?
Yeah, I probably could. I mean, I've grown up around it all like my whole life.
I don't know. Southern accent's like not super easy when you got a camera on you and you're like, all right, go. You know?
Yeah.
And then you got all of the South critiquing your ability to speak with an accent.
The first person I'd go to is like probably our friend Seth, or like
Gonna get taught. Just talk to him like with an accent and force it until it becomes secondhand.
yeah, or like find people that do have probably go down to Georgia, because that would be
Why? Just go hang out with Seth for
well,
like
yeah,
months
Seth,
at
but
a time.
there's not as strong as I think down in like Atlanta, Georgia. I think more people.
Nah, there's a lot of
accent.
people that aren't
But yeah.
Southern in Atlanta. A lot of
But
people
that's
move
what
to
that's what I would
Atlanta.
go to for those two roles. If I was gonna method act something,
Mhm.
it would definitely one of those two things.
I would be really into playing a pirate role. I would be really
Oh.
into playing a timepiece. I like dark, mysterious styles. A lot of stuff M. Night Shyamalan's done, like The Village or Signs. I know that's not a timepiece, but that kind of film I would love to do. If I could literally play,
What do you mean by M. Night Shyamalan? Like The Village?
yeah, like The Village or Signs. If I could literally play Mel Gibson's part as if I was older, and I could play Mel Gibson's part in Signs, I would love to. I would love that part.
Be the dad.
You have the history,
father.
the emotional wound of losing your wife to, the director of the film, in a car incident, and you're a reverend who is mad at God,
a
doesn't
father.
know
Yeah.
doesn't know what to do. Father doesn't know how to take care of his kids, and then aliens invade, and then you're trying to take care of your kids, and your brother lives
Man,
with
that's
you.
such a good film. I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
That has
Wait,
Wa-
in
that
Signs,
has
was
Joaquin
it
Phoenix
was
in
it
it.
his brother or was it his wife's brother?
His wife's
Brother. I think it was wife's. That had Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, that was Joaquin. But if I could play Mel Gibson's part in that movie, that would be amazing. I think it's right up the alley of the kind of challenge I would love to do. And then there's a thing I would love to play, kind of a psychotic character or mentally deranged, but maybe not too much.
Yeah. That
So
would be
like
cor-
what
that
Joaquin
would
did
be
as the Joker,
too
that
far.
would be too far. I don't think I would want to go into
I would
that.
not want to go that way. I would definitely.
It's
not
a
wanna
little
do
too
that.
much. Maybe becoming mentally unstable would be good.
I feel like that's such a slippery slope, though. Ooh, that'd be crazy to do. Shoo.
I would also like that. There's things about The Revenant. So a lot of people were like,
yeah, The Revenant.
a lot of people were like, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. You did such an awesome job. He did. You did all this
And
crazy stuff. You ate the innards of a bull. You were out in the cold.
He
You
didn't get Oscar or nominated for anything until The Revenant, right?
Yeah, that was his first.
He's been in so many things that he
I know,
could have been.
but he got it. Just chill.
Yeah.
So, however, we've been out in the wilderness a good bit. I haven't been out in like the snow-capped wilderness. I haven't done a lot of things, but I've eaten, raw animals a little bit. I've tasted raw
You have.
chicken. I've
You
bitten I've caught a fish, just bit
Ate
into
it.
it. I feel like I could dive pretty deep into a survival role like that
Okay.
and have a great time whilst putting myself through misery. You know what I mean? So
Well-
shivering in the cold, opening up a beast
Okay.
and climbing in.
I got a story for you
What?
that I think you'd be good at. This would be right up your alley. An idea. A guy, maybe even your age, you can play your own age right
Mhm.
now, trying to hike the whole Appalachian Trail,
Mhm.
maybe by himself or with a friend, and something happens to his friend, so he's by himself.
And he gets lost in the wilderness?
He gets lost,
The
or
problem with
he
that-
just wants to finish, and he's going to finish.
Okay, yes, it would be more like an adventure film because
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like an intense survival, because the problem with the Appalachian Trail is every like 10 to 20 to 25 miles you come into a town,
Yeah.
or you hit civilization and you have to pass through to go to the next trail. So like if you're being for real, then you would just, if you're on the AT, anyone who's ever been on the
you can
AT,
just go into
you would just be
civilization.
like, oh, here I go. Just
I
keep
mean-
walking until I get to the next town, which is
Yeah.
going to be like maybe at the most a day.
Yeah, I mean, there is people that hike the Appalachian Trail that they just have a
They
like
just
a bag
travel
of
up north, down south, up
a
north,
small
down
amount
south.
of snacks and water, and that's all they have, and they just go from town to town and sleep in the town.
Yep.
So yeah,
Those
But-
guys are crazy hikers. Those guys and ladies. When you come across them, they're just like, "Hi, folks," and
Yeah.
they're just like moving. I mean, they're usually little, so they're kind of skinny,
mhm.
their calves are tight. I mean, their calves are
You
real
admiring
tight.
those tight
They,
calves.
yeah, they have beards or long hair. Usually, if they're ladies, they just let their bodily hair just go.
You.
But I'm just saying, like, usually they're smaller because they don't eat a lot. They're hiking all day, and their muscles are they're pretty well done, and they got crazy endurance, and they just move quick through those mountains.
That would be so much fun. I don't
It
think
would be
I would
fun.
ever do it, but it'd be fun.
If I had no one really close to have to stay around,
Hmm.
or who's looking after me, or who wants to be with me, like a wife, then I would probably be like, yeah, I'm gonna go for like 3 weeks and just be gone, like Andrew Fant did.
Yeah, he did.
Do you know if he finished?
The whole trail?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's pretty long.
Yeah. I mean, he went into school. I doubt it.
Yeah. Have you kept up with his podcast? Is he still doing that?
He's still doing it. I saw the other day he
I
posted
could not
one.
find anything. Where are you seeing him post?
Spotify, I'm pretty sure.
Is he posting a
He-
Spotify?
He's sharing his stuff to Instagram, sharing from Spotify to Instagram.
Okay, well, I was looking on Instagram. I didn't see
Well,
any of
it's
that.
usually Instagram stories, so it goes away after a certain period
So
of time.
he's only posting Instagram stories.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I'll
Why don't
find
you
it.
just reach out to him and be like, hey,
What's your podcast?
what's your podcast? He probably wants to promote it, so he'd be willing
Maybe
to.
he'll come on ours.
Maybe.
about the
I
AT.
think it's a very, I mean, I'm not saying he won't, but a niche topic that he does.
Season 7, we're gonna get him on.
Maybe.
We're gonna have to get someone every week.
More guests, more things coming up.
Okay, so what other method acting are you thinking? So obviously we tackled Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Let's get Anne Hathaway. See, she's an example of, she started acting when she was kind of young. I think she was like either early 20s or a teenager when she was doing like Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
She
She was in her 20s, I think.
okay, so she wasn't that young. The most she's ever done as far as method acting is just like buzz her hair for Les Mis.
That is true.
So my theory holds up. She kind of method acted, but not fully committed. Like she wasn't a child actor.
I guess. Russell Crowe. He does some. He's gotten.
He
pretty,
just got jacked, but
no. He's gotten fat for a role.
has he gotten fat for a role, or is he just fat naturally? Is he just a fat guy now?
I think he got fat for a role.
Which one?
His latest one. I don't know what it's called. I've not seen it, but his latest film. It might not even be out yet. It's coming out if it's not out.
Well, it might be on Google.
But he plays in a lot of stuff, and
Let's
he's done
see.
a little bit of kind of method acting.
So obviously he was in Les Mis, Gladiator,
Oh, Gladiator. That's a good film.
Noah, which was a flop.
Mm,
Master and Commander.
yeah. Have you ever seen that? It's a good
No,
movie.
you've told me about it. Yeah, I don't see one that looks new here, or anything that says 2020 or 2021.
I mean,
Oh wait, 2020. Unhinged. Is that what you're talking about?
probably.
What are you, sir?
What are you?
Yeah, he is kind of chubby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unhinged.
I'm interested.
Look for the new
too.
Unhinged film. Russell Crowe is either
Russell
either
Crowe.
come out with or is
I've
going
always
to.
been fascinated by Russell Crowe just from a distance because he doesn't seem like he's in a ton of huge films, like things that are very popular in
Pretty
front
sure
of people.
Gladiator was
I mean,
the one.
Okay, Gladiator, but I wasn't.
Which
I didn't watch.
ironically,
I didn't watch it when it came out.
well, I know, but it was the #1 Russell Crowe film. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But ironically, Joaquin Phoenix was also in that one.
he was. Dude, Joaquin Phoenix is.
He gets
He
around,
just
bruh.
sneaks up on people.
Yeah, Joaquin gets around. He's gotten around a good bit. I wonder how old he was when he did his first role.
Pretty young. I think he's young, too.
Yeah, but he dropped a lot of weight. When you see him in some films, he dropped a lot of weight for Joker.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
He
put it right
dropped a
back
lot.
on.
He dropped a lot of weight for Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Not
was-
as much as okay. Yes, he got pretty small, but you can't be like Yeah, a lot of weight. I mean, when you compare it to Christian Bale and The Machinist, it's like
Yeah.
apples and oranges. Christian
Or-
Bale went way harder.
Yeah, or like we just mentioned his name. Come on, all right, that guy,
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
He played an HIV positive dude.
I've never seen that movie, but I know of it.
It's when he's wearing like a cowboy hat and stuff.
Yeah,
He got pretty small too, but still not Christian Bale level.
yeah.
Christian Bale was freakishly small.
I can only imagine getting small for a role like that. That's just,
Like forcing
the
your body
worst.
to do it.
Yeah.
I wonder. The Machinist. The Machinist movie. I need a genuine reaction of seeing pictures again because I can just talk about it. Goodness.
Let me see. Whew.
Oh my gosh. You probably can't see that.
I mean, but Christian Bale, he probably his weight sits kind of small anyway. He's not like a huge guy. I mean, the hugest role he played was like when he was trying to get big for like Batman or what is it, American Hustle?
Yeah. Or Vice. I mean, have you seen Vice?
Uh,
Let me show you how fat he got.
yeah, but I'm
on
saying like
Vice.
his natural weight isn't that fat. So him slimming down is not saying it's easy, but it's easier than you think because of his weight sitting low already.
That's true, but let me show you Vice. So this is him in Vice. Wow.
That's a difference.
Okay, since I'm here, I'm gonna figure out what the vice president's name was that he's playing. Cast Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
Don't
We
know
need
why I
to
couldn't
just
remember
go and watch some of these films. I like watching.
I've seen this.
For real?
Yeah, I watched Vice. So here's a side by side.
Did you ever watch the
real
skinny
Dick
one?
Cheney and Christian Bale?
Oh man, he played that role pretty good.
Yeah. See, this is a pretty.
I can only
heavy-
imagine.
He got so much fatter.
How do you get that big when you're that skinny? I mean, I can only imagine what you put your body through to get that big.
Look at that transformation.
How do you get that big? Do you think you can get that big?
I don't know.
I do not.
I think I'd start getting pretty fat pretty quick, but that's pretty big. And then they said once it wrapped, he got real disciplined again, got back to his normal size. I think he meets in the middle. So if anything comes up, I think he probably gets fit, meets in the middle when he's off a roll, and then he's like, all right, I'm in the neutral zone. Whatever is needed of me next, I'm able to work towards. Like, I doubt he could go from The Machinist to Vice from one movie to the next, or the
no.
opposite direction. He might die if he goes the opposite direction.
What do you
know,
mean the opposite direction?
From what he's at Vice down to The Machinist.
Oh, yeah, probably.
If he was to just drop weight like that,
he would, because
he'd probably die.
some even actors talk about when they're like, okay, I'm trying to get to this weight. Once they hit that weight, most of the time it's hard for them to stop losing weight because their body knows, okay, if you're trying to lose weight, let's go with it. Matthew McConaughey talked about this on Joe Rogan recently, where he said he was trying to get to like 130, and when he hit 130, he was eating normal again, but his body just kept losing because it knew he wanted to lose the weight. So
Yeah, and also he said it changes you. Like, your structure doesn't come back the way it was. And he said, like, Joe Rogan asked him how long did it take to recover from that, and he said, I feel like I still am. And he's only done that one role. I mean, he's gotten pretty jacked for a few roles, and he's kind of strong naturally. But imagine what Christian Bale has put his body through.
it is hard to build a lot of muscle just when you get that small.
Yeah. How do you think he did it?
Get muscle?
Yeah, like, so
You have to eat a lot of protein
the fighter,
and work out.
He got pretty jacked, but also small.
No,
fighter.
he's not jacked in that role. He's just skinny.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
I mean, he definitely was probably eating a lot of protein.
Mm-hmm.
And because see, you have to be when you're gaining weight and you don't want to just get fat, because it's hard to, when you gain a lot of weight, your body, the natural reaction is when you're gaining weight, even if you're trying to do it healthy, you get really big and you kind of hit a wall, and then you just kind of get a little bit chubby. Not saying fat, but like real chubby around the edges and just get a little bit chubby.
Yeah.
Even though you do have some muscle underneath, then your body will adjust and slim down a little bit at that point. So it goes up, gets a little bit chubby, and then it just bounces back and just goes to your natural weight, kind of evens out.
Really?
Yeah. When you're trying to gain weight.
So Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale, that's the fighter.
Yeah.
He is pretty skinny in that. He's not really jacked because he's not the one he's not the fighter. Mark Wahlberg is. But I did, after looking at this, I did want to say Christian Bale did Vice.
Yeah.
Then he did Ford versus Ferrari. Have you seen his size?
Was that his next film?
I believe that was the next thing after Vice that he's done.
Ford vs. Ferrari was recent.
Yeah. And Vice came out before that.
Maybe it was. I don't know. But yeah. He was pretty skinny for that movie.
Yes, he was. Let me show you this. Because he wanted to get to the size of the actual dude that was there, which was not as small as some roles he did, like Fighter and Machinist, but like not little either, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's pretty normal human size, but he looks like a Gordon, you know what I mean? In that part. Like that's kind of what a Gordon is like. But how did he go from that to that? Vice to Ford versus Ferrari.
He's very disciplined in what he eats, and he eats and is consistent with exercise.
All right. If you were to do any form of method,
Yeah.
which one would you do?
I already kind of talked about it, like a deep south.
No, like
Or-
a form of method. So lose weight, shave your head, get tattoos. Like Shia
boxing.
LaBeouf.
I already talked about this. Boxing. But the thing is, these actors, and this
Wait,
is
so you're saying your method would just be you'd become a really good boxer?
boxer, put on weight, put on a lot of muscle, slim up, but put on muscle. I think, see, this is a thought, and I know if I was going to get paid for this role, like $1 million, let's say someone pays me $1 million, I would have the time to create this character and
Yes.
and do that. So I would kind of go off the grid and become this character because I can. It's not like us now, we have a full-time job, so we can't do all of this like we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely would be something. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should try to become a method actor.
Like just do method stuff
Yeah.
and actually make movies?
Mm-hmm.
Become a method actor for short films.
Yeah.
All right, I know what my first one's going to be.
Okay, let's
gonna
write
be
a script. We're going to do
I'm going to
this.
be a lumberjack in the mountains, and it's going to be a thriller. And I'm going to be the lumberjack.
See, it's going to be hard for you because you're married.
I'm going to start working on getting ointments and stuff to get my beard thicker. I'm going to start taking care of my face. I'm going to start getting real jacked, eating super lean so I lose any fat I have. And then I'm going to start splitting wood every day. So the right muscles
Here?
yeah.
It's going to be hard
the
to
right
split
muscles,
wood here.
The right muscles are, and I'm going to climb trees. So I'm going to split wood, I'm going to climb trees. And so the right muscles become developed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look like a jacked guy splitting wood. I look like a lumberjack, you know?
Okay.
The shoulders are big. You know, the legs might be lacking a little. That kind of thing.
That's definitely interesting. I would love to do that. I need to work on my acting skills, maybe on a few projects before this, and then maybe develop my acting skills more.
What would
and
you
then
do?
get into
Okay,
it.
if you're preparing for a method role,
Yeah.
not only are you doing the physical stuff,
Yeah.
how would you, to help yourself with acting, how would you go about helping yourself? Like, if someone says, we want you on a film, you don't have time to like go act in other things that you've done to become
Okay.
better. How are you practicing?
Well,
How are you going to be ready for the day?
the biggest part is the script. I would memorize the script more and be more in with the script and kind of create my character more. I haven't had time to do that with other roles I played. So I would get the script, I would read it, I'd memorize it, know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say, all this stuff, know the story very well, and kind of then get into the character more. And I think that would help me with the acting side of it, because I'm knowing
What do you think are
how,
some character traits that you would break down, start thinking about first? Because the way my mind goes is, how does this character move his eyes? Like when does he
body
breathe? Does he
structure,
breathe
his
fast or
shoulders,
slow?
His shoulders, his posture. So his posture,
So if it's like this, or if it's like this, or if it's like...
posture, his eyes, like you said, and then the way he walks. Those three things would be what I go for. So posture and walk is probably the same, but how he walks.
I would think of, is he a heavy breather or is he a light breather? Is he someone that breathes like this? Or is he someone that breathes like this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a
that's
mouth
interesting,
breather?
Because you are always into breathing, especially when you're trying to, I mean, a lot of people don't see this, but like you have done like the Gollum voice and you're good with the breathing part of it because that's what you see the most. Yeah.
You know, it's everything. It's the life of the character.
Yeah.
How do they portray that life? You see a big fat guy on screen, I'm assuming we get close to him, we're going to hear a... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he doesn't even realize that they're doing it. You know what I mean?
That's definitely an idea. I would love to do
Like The
that
Machinist,
someday.
if I'm seeing him, I haven't even seen the movie, but I'm just saying, like, if you got the camera right up to The Machinist, I would imagine it's silent, almost like he's almost dead. You know what I mean? That's what I would imagine. This is the kind of stuff I think of when I think of characters.
Yeah. That is definitely interesting. I didn't think of breathing, but I thought of posture and walking.
You got to think of that stuff. That's what I break down.
Something
If I was
else
to
that
do
I
a
think of,
method acting, yeah.
depending on the role, the excitement the character gets. So if there's like if they get very excited, something that I look at is smile. How do people smile? I mean, like,
You can smile like
this with your teeth. With how do people smile? That definitely defines
smile with
a little
your
bit,
eyes.
depending on the character. I think, depending on what it is, though.
Yeah. Just a pro tip. If you want people to see you as a genuine person, don't smile like this. Smile like this. And even just like as you're walking around life, just show some happiness in your eyes.
Yeah.
That's the soul.
The eyebrows or the eyebrows.
soul windows. No, the eyebrows can get weird real quick.
It can, but if you know how to raise the eyebrows to, it's like, who was it?
Just
Someone
relax the
said-
forehead and show some happiness in the eyes.
someone said something. You don't even smile. You just raise the eyebrows, and it makes people think you're trying to. I think it was like Joe Fan at one point. Do you remember this?
No. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I think this was like way back, maybe even when he was teaching our Sunday school. He was just like, with the eyes, he said something about you need to raise your eyebrows and people will think you're interested or something. I don't.
I feel like that's just Joe Fant pulling some young people's legs.
Probably.
He wanted to see these little kids going around going like,
No, I think he was
I'm
genuine.
interested.
I don't
You're a
know
cute girl.
the context, though.
I'm interested.
I don't know the context, but I think it was for something. That's
Nah, it'd
funny.
be funny.
Talk about, do you remember we made a film for that Sunday school?
Let's not talk about that.
I was bald in the film because it was right before I decided, or it was right during the time I
was not
decided
recognized in the film.
What do you mean?
I don't think you could recognize me in the film.
Yeah, there was a lot of roles
Thankful for it.
because the whole Sunday school had to.
It was silly. It was a cool idea though. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And kudos to Joe Fant for putting both of those together. For not really having much experience with video editing. I didn't have any at the time. I was so young. He just like put
That
two
was
videos
one of the
together.
things that kind of sparked us getting to film,
That
though.
was one of them.
One of those things.
Yeah, because it was. We did it with him, and then Josh Pinnell. We saw him making a few short videos, and he taught cinematography. That was at the time I started wanting to do UPS wait, and film that right before Fight the Good Fight. And
Yeah.
then we filmed Fight the Good Fight with Seth, and that set us on a journey. Seth was the one who titled the film that set us on a journey.
Fight the Good Fight?
Yeah. It was like kind of his story. I mean, he definitely took charge in the story. And then
I think it was Seth at
his
first,
idea.
and then it morphed into you as like the third one when it came around.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, well, you don't know. the conversations Seth would have when he would call me,
Oh, I know.
talk to me about ideas for hours.
I know.
And I'm just like, man, how am I going to do this? How am I going to figure this out? I didn't even know what to do. Like, I was still using Vegas. It was still stretching on my video, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And it was is silly, but
Definitely
Okay.
was no method acting in those, though.
No, we weren't limiting ourselves in any kind of food or emotional intimacy,
Food.
emotional need.
Yeah.
We would just have snacks.
Talk about food. No, we're not talking about
Do you think
food.
there was any method acting during Game of Thrones? Or was everyone just living comfy?
Probably mostly living comfy. I think Daenerys did something. I don't know what she did. I was just looking this up. Let me look it up.
Didn't she lose a little bit of weight?
Maybe. Let me look it up.
She
Let me
become a
see.
little thin for a certain
Let me
part
see.
of the show? I know this isn't really method acting, but I know Amelia Clark,
Oh no,
she
That's
was
not
dealing with
method. They're
she-
just saying she dyed her hair. How is that method?
Yeah, it's not method. I mean, it's labeled as method. It's not committed to much. But, Amelia Clark, she was dealing with a brain aneurysm
Oh yeah.
during the recording of that, and she had to get surgery because they wanted to basically, I think they had to remove it or something. So she basically had to have brain surgery, I'm pretty sure.
Wasn't that like season 1 though?
Yeah, it was pretty early on, but the repercussions lasted for a while. So that's pretty crazy. Imagine going through that pretty fresh into your career
And
as an
still
actor,
going for it.
still going for it, still being one of the most important characters in one of the biggest shows that's ever existed.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with a pretty serious health issue that you're worried could kill you. And you're carrying this big heavy role.
It's definitely, you have to find an interest in it, or just want to be there for, like, throw everything you have to be there.
Yeah. That's a weird thing. I don't know what I would do. This is getting a little heavy, but I want to throw this idea out there.
Yeah.
If I was to be given, like, a terminal diagnosis or something that's very life-threatening, I don't know if I would all of a sudden be really protective of the time I have left,
And go into film?
or no, if I would either just drop film because of the time commitment and me thinking I might not have time to even make it anyway, and just spend it with, like, my wife and friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I would go the opposite direction and invest everything I have and all the time I have left in trying to make something before I'm gone,
Yeah.
I don't know which one I would go with. It's tempting to choose the first one. It seems like the right choice, but we don't know.
Yeah.
What's the right choice?
Or, I mean, depends on you, if you have a clear set deadline, or it's like, maybe, but if it's possible to,
Yeah. What would you do?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not in this circumstance, so I don't know for sure. I would like to say I would do whatever I can and not have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever that is, I don't know. I don't know what my regret. I would regret not trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe go for it. But I don't want to say I would leave everybody behind. I would try to find a way to do both almost, you know?
Yeah. That would be hard. I mean, you'd have to pick. I in my mind, I feel like I'd have to pick. Because if you're somewhere in the middle, which is weird because we live somewhere in the middle now, we just are okay with that because we're healthy. If you have a deadline and you kind of know the deadline or the possible deadline, then why does that all of a sudden you have to pick one? Because I think the inner turmoil of knowing that the deadline is a lot sooner than what you might have previously thought, all of a sudden, if you're choosing one thing, you're not choosing the other in your last moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be hard to just ride the middle. I mean, I don't think I could ride the middle. I think I'd be committing. I'd probably commit to friends, family, and wife.
Yeah.
I don't think I would probably, if that was the case.
That's definitely
what my
a
gut says.
thing. Do you want to kind of end this podcast?
Yes. Thank you for listening to me and Joshua talk about method acting and also a little bit of Disney at the beginning.
You can go back and listen to, we did 3.5 hour podcast
Yes.
on
something like that.
our trip, if it turned out good. Did you listen to audio yet?
Not yet.
We were doing it while we were driving, so who knows if the audio was great.
It'll be
But it's
posted before this episode.
Decent, probably. So, yeah, it's going to be posted before this, so you can go back and listen to it on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not going to be on this
Audio
channel.
only.
No channel. Not on this YouTube channel. Only Spotify. So go to
Yeah.
Spotify, listen to it, and tell us what you think. We were relaxed and more personal with this episode.
On moments. On
Yeah.
some moments, we didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
It
but
was very casual.
That
If you
is
like-
the personalness of it. I mean, at
Yeah.
one point, closer to the end, you just flat out got angry at me. And that's not something we do, but we don't show it
We
because
don't try
we
to,
tone
like,
back. We
yeah.
tone it back a little bit for the video.
If we feel like we're about to argue, we're going to try to wrap it up.
Yeah. That, you flat out got angry at me. Do you remember that, or were you just too tired?
I was pretty tired, but I kind of remember because you kept gesturing. Is that what I got?
That
out of it?
and cutting you off at the end. Cutting you off on something and you just flat out kind of... But go listen to that.
It's all right.
It's definitely... You'll see if you like...
You'll get a very raw version of me and Joshua.
Yeah.
Because we talked for a long time.
And our brother dynamic.
And we were
mostly.
tired at a certain point. And it's going to feel like you just jumped into a conversation, a true conversation, a casual car ride conversation that you can't speak into.
We talked about personal things that happened in our life, friends that we had and have been wrote out of our life.
Yeah.
We
Some.
talked about that for a while.
Yeah. We didn't, I mean, don't tease it too much. We didn't talk about that too crazily, but we brought it up.
If you listen to this and you're an acquaintance, you can go back and listen. Are
See
you
if we
wrote out
brought
of our
you
life?
up.
Yeah.
All right. Anywho, let's end this episode.
Yeah.
We got other things we got to do. It's been a long day.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, and we're here to make...
Geeks out of ya. Subscribe, comment, hit the bell. Follow us on Instagram and Spotify.
Yeah.
Midnight Special. It happens on Spotify. Bye. Have a good week.